Today we'll talk about biopolymers, PET resin prices, and take a tour of our redesigned pricing page. Welcome to Material Insights. I'm Plastics News Editor Don Lepp. In our Bioplastics Live on May 17th, Plastics News' Steve Tolikin asked Conor Carlin of the Society of Plastics Engineers and Kelvin Okamoto of Green Bottom Line about the Biden administration goal of developing technology that could replace 90% of fossil fuel-based plastics with bio-based alternatives over the next 2 decades.
You know, the Biden administration has that 90% goal, very ambitious. The Plastics Europe Trade Group in this report, Reshaping Plastics, last year as I was reading that, had a much less kind of ambitious target for bioplastics. They said maybe in 2 or 3 decades, you'd have 25% of your plastics from bioplastics or carbon capture. 25 to 90, that's a big range. You know, maybe the Biden goal is more of a stretch anyway, but any thoughts on where we might come down in 2 decades?
I'm not sure I project anything beyond 12 months, never mind 20 years, Steve. I think fundamentally you have to set big goals though, right? I mean, if we agree that the scale of the challenge is big and generational, then if we're not going to set big goals, we're not going to give people, something to work for over the next longer term period. If it attracts more people into these industries to work harder and find the breakthroughs, I mean, things like these have happened before in the past. Who's to say it can't happen again? So I think we have to be forward looking and without necessarily being 100% futurist or technologist, still thinking that the way to set things in motion is to have big, hairy, audacious goals.
The goals are important, but the other part is to think about it. It takes an average of anywhere from 3 to 5 years to build a 200 million pound a year plant. We're going to need tens, if not a few hundred of those to really get to that goal. So we're talking work has to start now on a lot of those facilities to get to that 90% in 20 years, or even get to the 25% in 20 years.
Next up, North American PET bottle resin prices ticked up an average of 1 cent per pound in April as a result of higher feedstock costs. Prices had been flat for 2 consecutive months after climbing 2 cents in January. PET supplies will be affected by Alpec's recent decision to close its Cooper River resin plant in Charleston, South Carolina. The site has annual production capacity of around 375 million pounds. Finally this week, we unveiled a redesign of our resin prices section. Here's a quick tour. The landing page has North American prices for a wide variety of commodity and engineering thermoplastics, recycled plastics, thermosets, and high-temperature thermoplastics. If you click on a price, let's find PET bottle resin, you'll see that it shows the prices for large and smaller volume buyers in US cents per pound. This week there was a 1 cent increase, so it shows the amount of the change with an up arrow. And under Change Details, you see a blue information dot. If you click on that, you'll see a story explaining the change. Going back to the chart, when you click on Expand on the left-hand side of the chart, you'll see that it takes you to a price history showing all the change dates for PET resin. Many of our historical prices go all the way back to 1989. We're in the process of adding links that will explain each change for the last several years. Also on the resin prices page, we have sections with pricing news and Material Insights videos, plus Frank Esposito's monthly Polymer Points columns and Polymer Points live editorial live streams. We've also got FAQs about pricing and a link to Frank's column explaining how we cover pricing. If you aren't a subscriber, you can sign up for a subscription here too. That's Material Insights for this week. Make sure to follow Plastics News for all the latest materials-related news, in print and every day online at plasticsnews.com.